We all know who this is. We all know what this is. We all know who it's about. And we all know what it's about. So that's all the preliminary I'm going to give into this particular commentary, with this one exception. And that in this particular instance, I'm going to try, despite the fact that she had pretty much sent a what is this you call a challenge, I guess, or extension of an olive branch, maybe, whatever the heck this was. But even though she directed that to me quite deliberately in the first person, at this stage I don't feel like giving it the honor, because it's not deserving. At this stage in the game, it's irrelevant, and it's lost all legitimate right and all privilege to even be referred to or acknowledged as a fellow human being. But because it's still out there trying to twist and distort and trying to refabricate and rework things to make itself look like the put upon victim, to make itself look like it's the one that's being bullied and harassed. Well, again, as I said, the harassment is no issue. That's a given. The problem is, of course, it's not harassment just for the sake of being mean and nasty. There's a reason for it, and the reason falls back into its own lap, as I've explained on numerous occasions. But I don't want to get back into referring to this thing as a first-person title, for the simple fact that, as I explained already, I don't think it's deserving. It's pretty much lost that privilege, number one. But also, I want to reserve that for what's essentially going to be my final smackdown of all of its lies and its bull. Yes, I am trying to watch my language, so if you'll excuse me for the occasional hiccup there when it sounds like a wordy dirt is about to escape my lips. I am trying to make myself a better person, unlike some people. But I want to reserve any first-person reference to this. Now see, even here, I can't. I'm having a difficult time pulling back away from saying some of the most obnoxious things, like referring to it as an animal or anything of this sort, because just the fact that this is what it's done. It decided that it did not want to be treated as a respectable and honorable human being anymore, that it just wanted to go on to be all slippery, slimy, like an eel and all this. So, you know, in all honesty, in all actuality, I really ought not be all that careful about how I refer to this vulva-licking stink cunt. So, yeah, I'm still trying to put a damper on it, but it's just so difficult to do when you're up against somebody like this who just doesn't realize when it's time to quit. And I say that despite the fact that it just uploaded a supposed plea, if you will, or some challenge to come together right now, or one of those things, despite the fact that she's trying to make it seem like, okay, let's get it over and done with, let's all play nice, can't we all just get along and water under the bridge, and I'll stop if you stop, and yada yada yada. Well, I'm sorry, it's not going to work like that. At least not until I expose your ultimate lies, and I do the Grand Slam BS smackdown of how you pretty much slandered me again, and trying to make it seem like I turned coward when Colonel of Wisdom was getting harassed and allegedly threatened and what all. So that's going to be essentially your ultimate annihilation, is when I get around to that, which I'm hoping, if you'll stand down after this upload, which I know you won't, but just to test your sincerity, and how badly you want this thing to die down, I'll give that to you and I'll say, okay, if you think you can shut up long enough, after this upload, I'll put the final upload up there that just essentially obliterates you and exposes you as how much of a liar and a fraud and a charlatan and a hypocrite that you really are. But I know you're going to do anything and everything you can to keep... See, there I go. I knew it wouldn't last... how long did that last? What, not even 5 minutes? And already, I can't keep referring to this thing without referring to it in the first person. It's just impossible. Because this is a personal beef. And it's the one that made it personal, which I'll also be going into with very much detail, with very much evidence to back me up in the final upload. But as it stands right now, I want to spend a little time addressing this latest video of it, because it just seems to be trying to bring this whole harmonious, let's just all acknowledge that we don't like each other, and let's all just acknowledge that we rub each other the wrong way, and let's all just stop with the hating and the backbiting. You do you and I'll do a vagina, and we'll just all go our own separate ways, and we'll just forget about it, wash our hands of the whole thing. See, she's trying to make it seem as if that she's doing something honorable and mature and noble, and that she's trying to be the better person. What it really is that she's trying to bring an end to the ass whip that I keep bringing to her, because all those whippings are starting to leave red stains and red marks on that very, very, very fat, ample ass of hers. If you catch my drift. So that's what it really comes down to. She's trying to make herself seem like she's the noble one, the mature one, the honorable one, the one who wants to just let bygones be bygones, and just just please, 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 I'm tired of this. I don't want to do this anymore. It's not that I can't handle my own. It's just like it's getting old already, and I'm just getting tired of getting pulled into it or whatnot. So, how sincere is she really about that? So, let's find out for sure and examine exactly how she went about making this little offer to let it all slide. Let's just each shake hands and call it a draw. And so nobody wins, nobody loses. It's just a stalemate, and we'll just shake hands and just go our own separate ways. Now, if there was any sincerity behind that, I might have considered it. Probably wouldn't, but you never know. I play scenarios sometimes, and I could see any number of scenarios where I probably could have said, excuse me, that, okay, yeah, I'm getting kind of tired of it too. Well, actually, I've been tired of it forever. But my being tired is irrelevant when you slander me, when you lie on me, when you throw things at me, you twist and distort my words, and you take me out of context, and of course you're doing it all with launching the most vicious and vile ad hominem attacks, which essentially, as I explained before, whatever ad hominems you throw, they don't bother me anyway. But it's the fact that you're doing it on top of all these other things, which is meant to destroy my character. I don't sit quietly for that. As I've said on numerous occasions, you come at me cockeyed like that, you get the smackdown put on you, plain and simple. And that goes for you, anybody, or who. As it has been from the past up to the present. I don't play that crack. So, let's just find out how mature and noble and sincere Ms. Kara Smell Hunchback really was about trying to offer this chance to let bygones be bygones. First question: on which channel of hers did she offer and extend this attempt to pardon one another? Did she offer that on her own primary channel? You know, the same one where she posted that self-exposing faceplant where she essentially confirmed everything that I said about her nasty, bitter, poisonous nature, as well as pretty much setting herself up for ridicule and humiliation by acknowledging that her looks really weren't all that, which has since, surprise, surprise, been removed or put on private, one or the other. And oh, by the way, speaking of which, since having uploaded that video and having since hidden it or deleted it or whatever you did with it, isn't it most interesting how nobody even tried to comment. Sheesh, you got my brain so fried and frazzled now that I'm becoming George W. Bush. But for all the years that you've been online, isn't it amazing that it wasn't until after the general started smacking you around with the fact that, unlike a lot of these other young, attractive black women who still have their futures ahead of them, who still have something going on that black men find appealing and pleasant, who's just by being who they are, just get all sorts of positive feedback from black men, and not too few black women also, who appreciate the fact that there are black women who are actually trying to present themselves like they're worth something. But isn't it amazing how when I explained that they have no problem getting compliments or being seen as worthy and just decent folk, attractive and classy from anybody and everybody whom they meet, except for your types, of course, because you're the only ones who actually come out and try to cut all that down, as you do, which is your nature. But isn't it strange and odd and curious that when I made that distinction and I compared it to your little daisy chain about how you all fat, busted, and broken downs don't get so much as a male attention coming at you and saying, hey, I think you look good, or I think you look okay. It wasn't until the general started putting the smack on your ass with that all of a sudden, after you pulled up this little video where you dolled yourself up and you put on all this makeup and you did your hair up real nice and you put on these nice big loopy earrings, and even then you still confirmed that you only look okay. Not good, not cute, not pretty, not even average. In your own eyes, you admitted it yourself right out of your own teeth, that even after dolling yourself up to the extreme as you did, you still register even on your own scorecard a just okay. So you told on yourself, and you confirmed everything that I've been saying about you from the get-go. You stepped right in it, and I didn't have to do anything except let you walk right in it. But it wasn't until this point, after all the years that you've been on GoogleTube, that finally some little simp moist mangina man decides to come out and give you a little bit of accolades. You looking fine, or whatever the heck it was that he said, or she said. I don't know if that was a boy or a girl, to tell you the honest truth. And really it doesn't matter, because as I explained before, you don't get that kind of validation. None of y'all do. And that's what pisses you off so badly. You hate young, fresh, nubile, and attractive, and alluring, because they're everything you're not. And it just pisses you off. So, I'm inclined to believe that this was actually more of a little thing that you had between yourself and this other person, where you essentially put out the word is like, hey, I need some support. I need to shut General Backlash up. Can somebody please just come in and just drop a comment on my video and just say how good and pretty I look and whatnot, so that he won't have anything to talk about? I'm not a betting man, but I'd almost be willing to bet that that's how it went down. But if not, then okay, fine. Somebody decided that, hey, they hated General Backlash just enough to make it seem like somebody's going to come in your defense. Well, hey, that's all well and good, but why'd you wait so long? Why did you wait until General started laying out the facts before somebody finally decided to come crawling out from under the cupboard like a cockroach and finally drop a little quick comment and it's like, here, take that, General Backlash. Here, take that. Now what you gotta say, huh? Now what you gotta say? I say it's pretty damn curious that it took so long, and that it took me calling the stuff out before it even happened. Gee, don't I just have the Midas touch? But no, to get back to point, you didn't offer that little twig or that olive branch or whatever the heck it was on your primary channel, which would have shown that you had character, which would have shown that you had class, which would have shown that you had decency, which would have shown that you had some honor and some maturity about yourself. You made this heartfelt plea, this phony heartfelt plea, and it was phony because you posted it not on your primary channel, but on your insult channel, the one which makes mockery of the general. And so you know full well that I attract, well, I attract some things too. I attract your ass, don't I? But you know full well that I track your activity on both of those channels. And only by accident do I ever find out what your activities are on other videos and on other channels, which I also visit, which you don't know that I visit, which you call stalking you. It's not stalking you, dear, when we go and actually share the same interest in the same video uploaders or in the same topics or on the same videos. Just because you go there and you comment doesn't mean that I have to go there and do the same. And just because I see you taking swipes at me on some of these other different channels doesn't mean that I have to respond in kind right then and there. And it also doesn't mean that I'm stalking you. Am I monitoring you? You better believe I'm monitoring you. Because I need ammunition for the hellstorm that I'm going to bring against you when it's time to shoot you down. And so yes, I monitor General Backass. And I monitor KrazyHunchback. And so yes, I am aware of everything that you've ever said to this point, or everything that you're continuing to say. Why do you think I'm so effective at coming back and shooting down your lies and tearing your crap up? It's because I listen to every single word you say, just as you listen to every single word I say. And I'll prove that in a little while. Despite your little, I just skimmed through your stuff. We'll blow that lie out of the water pretty soon. But see, the fact that you know that I monitor your channels, you had every opportunity to be the better man. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, the better person. By making the same plea, as fraudulent as it was, but you could have shown an honorable step by actually saying, hey, you know what? I'm so sincere in wanting this thing to end that I'll post this on my primary channel, since I know General's going to go there anyway, because he's keeping tabs on me. He's checking out my words, and he's going to make sure that I'm not twisting and distorting and fabricating and making bullshit straight out of my ass and twisting his words around. So since I know he's going to come to my channels anyway to make sure that I'm not doing that and trying to keep me in check, let me make this plea. and let me do it on my channel and be the honorable person here. But that's not what you did, is it? You decided to post on an attack channel. A channel that was meant for no other reason than to insult and harass me. And a few other people, which I won't go into, but primarily it was trying to get an edge out of me. Which again, really doesn't bother me all that much, except that it shows you out for what you are. Because you can't play honorable. You can't play above board. You can't be a person of character. You can't gripe and complain and challenge and offer a different of an opinion without trying to sting somebody in some sort of a way. And so by doing your little, oh, let's all just get along, let's just go go our separate ways, and I stop talking about you and you stop talking about me, but I'm going to do it on this diss channel just so that I can make myself look like the better person, but at the same time I'm still taking a swipe at you, a little underhanded swipe at you. So you prove yet again, by doing it this way, that you have absolutely no character, no credibility, and you were never sincere in the first place. Because you keep showing time and again that you have absolutely no genuineness about yourself. You are an ambush bug, a troll, and a net assassin. You're not genuine. You're not real. You're not even trying to be. You're trying to find out what kind of little sneaky way that you can get away with trying to slap somebody and in a sense make it seem like, see, I'm trying to be the better man here. I'm sorry, the better person here. But they won't accept it. They won't accept my apology, or they won't try to work things out, or they won't try to bring it all to an end. See, I'm trying to be the good guy here, and they're still jumping all over me and ripping me a new asshole. Well, gee, examine your method. Then maybe that'll answer your question as to why nobody's taking the bait of your phony olive branch. But see, the thing that you keep doing to me, the way you keep showing yourself out to me, you're only continuing to hurt yourself. Because the more you do it, the more that people, especially those who have been trying to get your back, are going to wake up to the slanderous, sneaky, conniving, underhanded, slimy, fork-tongued, slippery, slimy snake that you are. And they're going to just cash in their chips and they're going to say, I'm not going to buy it anymore, Carrie. You've played your hand. I can't get behind in support of you anymore because you just keep getting exposed as the fraud and the charlatan and as a hypocrite and as a fork-tongued devil. We see you for the snake you are now. And it's best for us to just cut our losses and distance ourselves as far away from you as we can, lest we get caught up in the firestorm as well. So, we pretty much buried that little trickery that you tried to pull. So, let's go on to some of the issues that you actually mentioned in that video upload. Now, unfortunately, I'm in a situation right now where I'm at work, so I don't have the ability to get online. I have no internet access, so I can't pull up your words, I can't pull up your text comments, and I can't quote you verbatim. So I'm just going to have to do the next best thing, and I'm just going to have to paraphrase as best as I possibly can. Essentially, just blowing you out of the water by showing all these little sneaky little tricks that you keep pulling, and eventually I'm going to wake up enough people to recognize your sneaky, conniving tactics that they're going to pay a hell of a lot closer attention to what you say, how you say it, when you say it. because we already know why you're saying it. The first thing I do want to address, though, is how you accuse us of they're denying that they're doing all this stuff and that they're calling me out like this, and that's excuse me, you lying fraud. I wanted to call you something else, but I'm gonna try to be a gentleman here. You know damn stinking well that we never, ever denied retaliation against you. See, you want to call it something else. You want to call it bullying. You want to call it threatening. You want to call it stalking. But in actuality, what it is and what it's always been has been retaliation. You smack me in the face, I punch your eye out. That's how I operate. So make sure you don't bully the little kid before you find out whether or not he might be a kung fu or judo master. Catch my drift? So no, we were always open and honest that we were doing it, when we were doing it, and why we were doing it. So you can take that lie out of your little quiver now. And besides, why would you tell such a blatant lie? I mean, I understand you're going to try to lie to your little cronies and all, but why would you lie to them like that? To tell them just matter-of-factly, with no shame whatsoever, that we denied doing these things when they know damn good and well that we never denied it and we were upfront about it. We didn't hide anything from you. We didn't hide anything from anybody. When we came after you hard, raw, and in the open. But see, that's the way you and your fraudulent daisy chainers, that's how y'all operate. So, naturally, you have to assume that everyone else operates the exact same way. Sorry, Charlie. Only good-tasting tuna gets to be star-kissed. So, another thing that you pointed out. You made more reference to our channel numbers. Now you're trying to put a whole new spin on why our channel numbers are so different. And you're falling under this excuse now that, well, when I gave up my 100% vulva liquor channel, I lost a whole bunch of subscribers. I had like 500 subscribers, and then for my own personal reasons, I gave up that channel, and then I established this channel. And I see the dates as to when that channel was established, first of all. So you're not fooling anybody with that, number one. But number two, if that's the excuse you're going to use, that's only your third channel. And so with channel number 3, after 500 or some odd subscribers originally, you've only managed to pick up 43. Interesting that. Only 43. Whereas General Backlash, thanks in large part, in fact, thanks exclusively to your activities, I had to replace the original General Backlash channel 4 different times. So when General Backlash got terminated, I replaced it with Gen Backlash. That one got shut down within a week or 2 weeks. Third channel was the General Backlash, and that got shut down in like 3 days. Then came General Backlash for real, and that one's still active, but I'm only using that as a hub for my classics, where I keep everything on unlisted, and if anybody wants to see anything that I've done that's what I consider a classic upload, then that's going to be on what is now my 5th General Backlash channel, General Backlash 5-star. So the playlist for everything that's on For Real is all featured on 5-star. All you got to do is click the link and just go. So the fact that I've gone through 5 different incarnations of the General Backlash channel, and keep in mind the General Backlash channel was a spin-off of my original Kid Brother is Watching channel. where I do have hundreds of subscribers there. And so if anybody's supposed to see a major drop in numbers as a result of losing channels and reestablishing channels and losing channels and reestablishing channels and losing channels and reestablishing channels, then you're the one who should have the 140 subscribers, and I should be the one with your 43. Makes logical sense, don't you think? Where's your audience? And yet, I'm the one who has only 7 people follow. Oh no, only 5 people follow. Oh no, only 4 people. Oh no, only 2 people following me. And yet, each and every day I check, my subscription numbers keep increasing. And yours remains stagnant at 43. So, let's see. What else? Oh, now that you're offering this so-called olive branch, which is essentially a rotted twig, but you know, you're trying to play pretend like a little girl with a little dollhouse, and you know, you always have to play make-believe. So now you're going to make believe that you're trying to make peace with the general backlash, or at least part on some agreeable terms to where we don't get at each other anymore, so we can just let all the drama die down. In offering that so-called olive branch, you made the expressed assurance to me that you're going to open me up for interacting with you, so that I can come in and I can put my text comments and all this other good stuff. First question, on which channel are we talking? Again, your motivation and your agenda. You're not fooling anybody. Correction, you're not fooling me. I know your game. I've studied you. I know what you're up to. So, okay. But let's just play it your way. And let's just say, just for the sake of this particular discussion, that you're opening both channels up to me for my input and for my feedback and all this other mess. Well, I haven't tested that out yet. And you want to know why I haven't tested it out yet? Because when I went to observe your little video, I might as well say video, because that's probably how you spell it. But you said that, okay, you've got an open forum to me. You can send your text comments and all that. You can contact me. You can participate. And yet, right there on that very page, which you must have been so stupid to realize that Google actually does this, they will display when you're not accepting comments. And it says it right there in clear type that comments have been deactivated for this video. So seeing how I don't have an opportunity to contact you on the very video that you're supposedly offering this dried up twig with, why am I going to assume that you're going to open it up any other kind of way, on any other format? Answer, you're not going to. This is more of your bullshit. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and you're doing something surreptitiously, or you're trying to make me jump through hoops, which I'm not going to do. So either way, I know your game. Now, you go on to say, or you keep saying in this thing, that you're tired of fighting. Or you're tired of all the drama, or you're tired, you just want it all to just go away and end. Everyone, allow me to interpret that into English. What that means, when she says she's tired of fighting, it essentially means she's tired of getting all the ass burned. She's tired of getting her lies and her fraud exposed. She's tired of losing all of her credibility and her relevance, what little bit of it that there is. She is tired of getting sliced and diced into tiny quivering pieces. That's what she's tired of. She's not tired of this drama. What she's tired of is not being able to leave it all behind with herself looking like the hero who's actually the one emerging and winning the arguments. In other words, she wants to come out of this whole thing alive and looking as unscathed as possible. And in so doing, trying to make sure that General Backlash and Colonel of Wisdom still come out looking like the big mean schoolyard bullies, and making herself look like the innocent victim who did nothing wrong, who didn't do anything to actually get anybody's ire to get them to come after her. No. See, she's trying to duck and dodge out of this thing looking wholesome. Well, sorry, dear, that ain't happening. Not with the general, it ain't. Now, let me explain something to you again, for the umpteenth time. If truly your real and genuinely stated purpose, intent, and desire is to bring all this madness that I'm bringing to you to an end, I told you explicitly and exactly how to do that, and on top of that, I rattled off a number of examples as to when and where and with whom I had done that. And I'll just name just a few again. Jade is back. Divine Brown. Alec Niles. What's his name? War Fossil. You heard me say, despite your pretense, of course, that you only skim through my stuff and you're not paying any attention to my... No. You watch and listen to every word like a hawk, zeroing in on a crippled rabbit. Because, explain to me, how else is it possible that you can know in perfect detail everything, every minute detail that I have ever said about you, about your activities, and about how you take things and twist them around like Stretch Armstrong and make up and fabricate stuff out of your ass? How do you think I lock in on all that stuff and I keep bringing it up to everyone's attention to show how much of a fraud and a coward and a charlatan that you are? If you don't listen to every single minute word that I say in reference to you or to you directly, then please teach me that magic trick where you can come away with having absolute perfect knowledge of absolutely every minute detail of anything I've ever said, that you always come back and responding to, and that you're constantly reworking and retwisting and restretching and re-looping. How do you do that? I want to learn that magic trick. You know why? Because I can take that and I can make myself a bajillion dollars. And I'll be set for life. So please, show me that trick where you can just barely listen to anything that anybody's saying. You can just skim through something anybody's saying, and you can get the whole gist of what they're saying in absolute perfect detail, to the very minutest point. Please, teach me that. In fact, I'll even pay you for it. That's how badly I want to know that trick. How do you think I keep coming after your ass so effectively? It's because I watch every single one of your words, and I listen to every single one of your words like a hawk on the hunt. So yes, I do listen to you. Every little syllable, every misspelled word, every misplaced punctuation mark. That's how I get into your ass so effectively. That's my talent. So since you want to put on this pretense like you're not listening to every single word I'm playing, okay, we already know that that's a lie. And since we know that that's a lie, you heard me rattle off how I used some of these same examples that I just mentioned, how we used to get in real deep, real hard, real nasty and we would just smack each other around, and we would just spew some of the most vile venom at one another. And of course, again, in my instance, I was doing it as a form of retaliation. Let's understand that word now. Retaliation. That means you're the one who gets hit, who decides that you're not going to just take getting hit, and you're going to hit back, and you're going to hit back harder. Or you're at least going to try to hit back harder. And see, you weren't expecting that. I know. But since you already know that the answer was already given to you time and again as to how to end all this ass whoop, but since you want to pretend that you don't know, I'll explain it again, which of course you already know, because in this latest upload that you just mentioned, you also mentioned it. You mentioned it in a text comment on another different video. You mentioned it again on another earlier video. So you know the answer I'm going to give you because you already know how to win. And it's very simple. Just as it was in their case, so shall it be in your case when you decide that you want to stop getting smacked around like an adopted red-headed stepchild. Shut up and shut down. And no, when I say shut up and shut down, that doesn't mean that you close everything off and then you shut all your channels down and you take all your videos off and then you go disappear into the ether or anything. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. You can still be a presence at GoogleTube. It's free forum. You can have your presence there and preach your line of BS if you want to. And that's your prerogative. Have a happy. But what is not your prerogative is to lie and slander and smear somebody when you had no expectation of them fighting back like a Tasmanian devil. So what I mean when I say shut up and shut down is essentially what these others have done. They got to a point of recognition and realization that there was no stopping the ass whoop when the ass whoop came on them. So by the time they realized that they fired all their bullets and all they got left is the empty gun, smart thing to do is to not throw the empty blunt gun at Superman's chest after a whole stream of bullets just bounced off of it. You drop the gun, you throw up your hands, and you say, okay, I quit. I won't come at you anymore. Your name is out of my neck anymore. I won't make any more diss videos about you anymore. I won't drop any more diss comments about you anymore. I won't make any more mock channels about you anymore. I'll leave you alone. And when each and every single one of those persons did that, guess what, Boopy? I left them alone too. Because as I explained repeatedly, when you don't give me anything to gripe about, I don't get in your business. It's just that simple. So since you're the one who started it, you get to be the honorable person, and you get to be the one to end it. That falls into your lap. That's your kuleana, as we say. And if you don't believe me, and I know you don't, you're going to make every excuse as to why you can't do it or why you won't do it or how you're going to try to shut this thing off while trying to make yourself look like the innocent victim. But I've got another example for you. A very, very recent example to show you exactly how I operate. Because there's a new name now that has been scratched off of my shit list. And you want to know who it is? It's the #1 stinking panties that you keep sniffing your nose up behind. I say this with, and see, I'm not even going to call her a insulting name anymore. You want to know why? Because I don't need to come after her anymore. Because she did what you refused to do. See, she finally got to the point of figuring it out. That when you go up against the wrong people, be prepared to get your ass lit. When you stick your arm into the lion's cage, and you're going to just start jerking on the lion's mane and harassing the lion and trying to get his ire, don't turn around and blame the lion for clawing and biting and ripping your arm out of socket after you went in, sticking your arm in the lion's cage, jerking on his mane. Expecting what? You can't blame the lion for that. If you want the lion to stop trying to tear your arm off, stop poking at the lion. And I say this with love, has gotten to the point of realizing that, look, she's losing too many limbs over this mess, especially now that the ultimate fail has occurred to her. And now she's got nothing to come back with anymore, because now everybody knows why she's so envious and jealous of Kernel of Wisdom. So she shut her shit down. And I'm not saying she had to shut her stuff down. She could have left all that stuff up there. But see, you take my name out of your neck, and you take any references to me that's dishonorable out of your system, and go find somebody else to pick on. That way, you can start beef with somebody else who doesn't know how to fight, who doesn't know how to retaliate, who doesn't know how to rip back as fiercely and as effectively as a general Backlash does. You know, go out, find an easier target, somebody you can manipulate, somebody you can shame, or somebody that you can essentially quell their challenges to you by simply calling them a bad name. But that's not general Backlash. And that's not Kernel of Wisdom either. And I'll speak on her behalf on that. See, you got to find somebody else who doesn't know how to stand up to ad hominem attacks, and who'll just tuck their tails behind their legs and just say, oh, just don't give those people any attention. Oh, just let them go on and do their thing. You just be the better person and just let them say whatever they want to. I'm like, nah. You don't let anybody say anything against you that's slanderous. That's a lie. That can ruin your character. That can dishonor you in any sort of a way. That is not allowed to stand. And you will bring out the Tasmanian Devil combination Wolverine, combination Badger, combination Mink out of someone like General Backlash when you do that. I am as unrelenting as I am bombastic. There's your ultimate example right there. I have no more beef with I Say This With Love, unless she decides to want to spin back around on that new Malcolm X channel that she's talking about establishing. I don't know if she's done that yet or not, and frankly, I'm not interested. But as long as I don't hear anything coming from her about General Backlash this, General Backlash that, or that she's still accusing people who disagree with her as ghost General Backlash accounts, she won't hear my mouth. And her name will never come out of my lips unless it's in proper context, or just to recite history. So, she won. That's right. At the end of it all, the fight is over, and her arms are the ones that are raised in victory. The reason being is because I have nothing to punch at anymore. Don't you get it? So if you want me to stop smacking you around, stop making yourself the convenient target. Stop lying on me. Stop twisting my words around. Stop twisting everything else around to make yourself look like you're innocent put upon victim who did nothing to cause all this to get slammed at you in the first place. Fess up or just bow out. See, if you don't want to fess up, that's on you. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to get the last word in exposing the fact that you're bowing out of this thing without fessing up to the part that you played in all of this. Because remember, in this whole long dragging beef, which went dormant for a while, for a reason, to let you know that I hadn't forgotten about you, that's why I pulled you back into this. I wanted to let you know, plain as day, that no, I'm still aware of your activities, and no, just because I'm being quiet for the time being doesn't mean that at each convenient opportunity, like a vulture, I'm going to rip the flesh out of you. But the ball's in your court. If you want to shut me up, there's your opportunity. If you want to end the war and the madness, there's your opportunity. I gave you point-for-point instruction on exactly how to do that. All you got to do is keep my name and Colonel's name out of your lips, off of your typing fingers, and off of your video uploads, and off of these mock channel sites, and just pretend that we never existed, then you're good to go. I'll have nothing more to say to you or about you. But see, you don't want that. I know you don't want that. Because as I said in every other previous upload, you can't help yourself. You are addicted to this sort of ass burn. Prove me wrong. I dare you. I challenge you to prove me wrong. Let this be the last word. I know you can't do it. You won't do it. You're incapable of doing it. But don't worry. As I said, I've got one more slam coming at your way, which is going to expose once and for all, and in the most glorious fashion that I can possibly imagine, how essentially you're going to get exposed as the lying, fraudulent charlatan that I've been calling you out as all this time. And no, it's not going to be with the history, the video history of my documenting how all this stuff got started and where it went and how it expanded and blew out of proportion. No, for the time being, all that stuff is staying private on someone else's channel. And if anybody wants to get a little history lesson as to how all this mess really got started, they'll see the documented evidence right there for themselves. But I've got something that's just as good, and it's going to bury you. Just as all the other stuff that I brought out as evidence was burying you, which is why you couldn't stand it, which is why you had to censor the truth, which is why Backlash kept getting shut down. Because truth is not allowed to remain standing. Truth has to be censored. Facts have to be censored. History has to be quelled. Because you couldn't stand the fact that you were being exposed as a lying, fraudulent coward. But not to worry, because I don't have to resort back to all that stuff in order to prove my point. I'll show you with other little items that you know nothing about. Not only will I expose your lie about this whole Thomas mugshot wife beater and my supposed secret hiatus because I was too much of a coward to confront a man when he called my whatever a bitch. But I'll also pull up another interesting remaining piece of evidence which will retell exactly how all this beef and how all this misery of yours got started in the first place and why it went ballistic as it did. Stay tuned.